here. You know, we're live now. Let me go and grab the links. All right. Let me grab y'all copy link. Send it. Y'all want me to send it in Messenger?
You could do that.
Howard.
Send mine the other way.
Just put it on your page.
Yeah.
All right, I'll just do that.
You could tag all those too, and then we could just share it from there.
Okay. All right, it's on my time. It's on my timeline now. All right, well, let's go, man. Wait for the people to chime in. Wait for the followers to come on.
Yep.
Go ahead, Ronnie, Marvell, Howard. Y'all could share it. Well,
okay.
I'm gonna share it as well.
I wish I could have got this on a computer.
Well, this ain't gonna be your last time.
Yeah, you can still try to work with it too. Go ahead, producer.
I'm waiting for your followers to come on, Almighty Mayor.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's your thing.
Yeah, man. Mm-hmm. I'm just honored to have a marvelous cast online like we do here. All right. I think all of you guys are vested in the community, and none of us are shy to the community in the streets. I think I would say that all of us could go anywhere in this city and have some respect in the community. With the recent violence in the community, I know it's a trend that we always have, every few years. I had an issue, and me and the mayor had a chat talking about the violence, but also talking about how can we improve the community. We're constantly, when something happens, Mayor, first thing they say is the police not doing enough, or they'll say, the city of Riviera Beach is so bad. But the thing is, there's things that we can also do to make it better.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
And I know Howard, he's probably trying to get back on. Just wanted to really introduce him, man. Howard, Patrick, Marvell, Saffold, man. Of course, everybody know the maestro up there, Horace Towns. But I think you said something that was key, man. I think, what's so beautiful about this cast is we all have a past, and we all come. You can call it lucky, you can call it blessed. I consider blessed that we're here to do this, considering where we come from, everything that's going on in our community right now. I just wanted to bring this cast together because, you guys know the streets, but from that, you had an opportunity to get your life straight and make something positive out of your life. So we're here today, as we're discussing the balance. And we from, each one of us got a story that we don't have enough time to tell you, but we're blessed. And one of the things you and I was talking about, Horace, is how do we reach? You got Marvell up there, man, who, I'm going to let him share a story, but we met up a couple of years ago. We was doing park events around bringing our community together and stopping some of the violence. And he started an organization. So we're just not new to it. We've been working and been, in the streets and trying to come up with some solutions to better our community. And so just wanted to plug that in, that, we got a cast of crew here that knows the streets in and out, but also know, how to put on a suit and be professional, but understanding some of our young dudes today are going to need some of us to go back and show them the way. I think a lot of times, when we get out and we make it, we forget to go back and get them, man. And one thing I know is when I was in the streets, it was hard for you to tell me anything if you couldn't identify where I was coming from. So we know we have a voice that we can go back out, and whatever it takes to get these young cats, man, to get on the right path. So just wanted to share a little bit of that. Marvell, you wanted to share?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say How everybody doing this evening? Got Howard Patrick back on.
Back
And
back
just,
on.
and just like Mayor Felder said, this not something new that we just started. This not something we woke up yesterday and said let's do this. We actually had a round table. Me, him, and Patrick. Horace Towns done been at me with time 4 or 5 years ago when I first started LIP, and Howard Patrick and Mr. Felder or Mayor Felder, they simultaneously was trying to start something too. Then we had mutual friends that brought us together at a meeting. So like this same discussion is something that we discussed over time. We done had multiple meetings. We done did the marches. We done, like Mayor Feder said, we done did the part thing and all that. But right now it's time to take it to another level, as far as action and really getting to the root of the problem. And like you said, this is a good cast. I'm sure there's more people out there with resources that can help, but it's all about people helping. Because to me, I think it's too many people relying just on a small amount of people to help. When they say it takes a village, that's the whole village. So we can't just depend on the politicians, the pastors, the advocates, and the parents. It takes for the entrepreneurs to come in and say, hey, to see, some young cats. Like I work people all the time, because I feel like crime is 95% financially based. So I feel like if we help create platforms that help, people financially, especially the younger generation, to show them ways, which is something we talked about, we can start to help eliminate crime. Cause like I say, even domestic crime is like it's financial. It's a lot of financial, and it's a lot of suppression that we're in that got us in these situations. But it's a way out. It's just people just gotta wanna get out, and they gotta want to listen to people that halfway made it out, like ourselves, that still we still around, but we see the light. So I consider that basically we made it out. We just got to keep going.
Okay. Well, before I introduce Howard, the thing was that the substantial part about this conversation is it's not a bunch of suit and ties. It's not a political conversation. This us having a real conversation with a lot of people in the community that respects us. And the other week we had a kid that was shot. All I heard was a headline, a baby shot. You had people in the community say, oh, that's typical Riviera Beach. But, from what I'm told, there were many witnesses in that community that could have helped, give the police some information. But I know the whole snitching thing is something that we've been traditionally doing. But after 2 hours of conversating, me and the mayor I came up with one thing. I said, Mayor, the biggest problem we don't have a community. So, a community sustains itself. And, this is not Riviera Beach that we knew when we were coming up. So that's why this conversation is so important. Howard, what are your thoughts?
Well, just like Marvell said, it's all about resources. You know what I'm saying? That's what basically to build a great community, to build a wall of protection around the community. First of all, we must lay a perfect block, meaning a platform, and by us being a lack of resources, they don't have anywhere to turn to. In order to build that great wall, you have to lay that perfect block down. And if you don't continue to build block after block perfectly in the community, eventually the wall is going to shift. And basically that's what we need, a platform. Okay, we could preach to the kids all day, and they were to say, if I were to come off the street, where do I go from here? And if you don't have an answer to these kids, or a solution, it's back to ground zero. And that's what I'm looking at. Just like they built the Great Wall with Jericho, you know what I'm saying? And they march around this wall for 7 days, and eventually they start to cry out. And what I'm saying by that is the parents that's losing loved ones, losing their kids, they're crying out, and the wall is crumbling. And that's what we need. We need that platform or something for them to get into, and the resources. When you have the big boat yard there, the yachting company, something these kids got to get into, a trade or something for them to have a future. And like Marvell said, like the people that leave out and lead a community, and don't come back. I was listening to a motivational speaker, and she said a lady asked her, "You done made it big. Do you feel bad about leaving your community?" And her response was, I'm gonna paraphrase what she said. She said her response was, "No, I don't feel bad because I can't continue. I'm not a help to them if I stay in the community and struggle with them. But what I can offer them when I do make it big or be successful, come back and share the things that I learned.
Yeah.
For the next person to get out. And it got to be a repeated cycle on that kind of manner. And we just go from there."
Mayor Felder, while we're on that subject about jobs, we've heard people. I know. I just personally know there's a job difference between jobs and careers. What are your thoughts? In regards to community, like he's saying, I always heard Andre 3000 say, "You can't tell them doing what they're doing is a sin if we're not teaching them ways to win." Yeah. What are your thoughts as far as careers in the community?
Well, Towns, and we hit the block running, man, when we got elected, and one of the things we did was all the Fortune 100 and Fortune 500 companies we have here in Riviera Beach. We started hitting those doors, and to your surprise, man, we have so many big companies here that we had nobody from Riviera Beach working. For instance, Ticomec. A lot of people don't know about Ticomec. They create or make surgical instruments that goes into surgery. And so we sat down with them, and what amazed us is they have over 200 employees and not one employee is from Riviera Beach. Wow. So then we asked the question, well, okay, you've been here for over 20 years. Has anybody ever come to you? And they said no. And I was surprised. So I said, okay, let's build this relationship, because we have people in the city that are willing to work. And so from that relationship, they put in the training program. You can go to Palm Beach State. They hire, I think they got 2 Riviera Beach employees right now. What does it create? It creates a career, because as we talk about, and later may not be in this conversation, the medium income and bringing that up, we have to be work with some businesses that are here, and also identify some businesses that want to come in to help us bring that margin up. And so that's so important. We have the manufacturer. We send a lot of guys to right here in our city that's making weights. He's hiring Riviera Beach guys, and they're making good money right now. So I think that's the biggest thing, is how I was saying, and we faced this years ago as we're talking to young cats, and they say, "What do you have?" So we understand the platform is getting in a relationship with what's here already. You would be surprised. I mean, it surprised the heck out of us that these businesses that are here that didn't have anybody from Riviera Beach working for them, but there was nobody laying that footwork or that groundwork to build those relationships so that they can begin to hire and be held accountable to hire our Riviera Beach citizens. So it's very important. It's paramount that we continue that going, that we're not just giving them a job, but we're talking about careers.
Yeah. No.
Well, let me ask y'all something, because this is pretty much the whole focus of the broadcast tonight. Was this, again, we've had recent crime. We've had a couple shootings, right? And I know traditionally we've said no snitching, but the community, I mean, these trends, the violence is getting out of hand, and
can I get my take on that? Because like I said, I done had my share in the streets, and I done did my share of dirt, and I done been, so I could see both sides. But with me, when I was in the streets, I seen a lot of things happen, and I done a lot of things. But it, like right now, it's just the things that have happened. It don't make no sense. So it kind of throw away that stigma of snitching. Like, to me, snitching is if me and you go do a crime together, and I get caught and you don't, and I tell on you, that's snitching because I was involved. But if a baby gets shot and I get whiff of who may have did it, and I pass the word on to a resource that could get, that's not snitching. That's getting somebody off the streets. Cause next it could be my baby. Next it could be someone that these babies don't got nothing to do with. If you out there beefing, you doing it. If you like, I don't condone none of it. Now, at one point I did, but now I see the sense of it all, and I don't condone none of it. But how I feel, if you is gonna do it, I believe you're gonna do something, do it 100%. If you're gonna get your man, and y'all gonna live that life, go get your man. Don't do no drive-bys and no crowd, and you taking innocent people, and your man's still out here. doing what he do, you probably in jail and all this and that there. And now he got the whole city know what's going on, but don't nobody want to tell. Now it's more of babies getting killed and more the same thing because like you said, that stigma. But right now, with times like this, I think that stigma of snitching is kind of like, to me, and I've been on the street, we could almost toss that out the door. Like I said, unless you did a crime with someone, then you got to man up. You get caught. But far as like that baby, that 2-year-old baby getting shot, and someone know who pulled that trigger, they need to say something. And this coming from a G. I'm a gangster. I've been out here, and it like if I knew, I would say something. If I knew who pulled that trigger and shot that baby, I would say something.
Mayor Felder and Mr. Patrick, that goes back to what I'm saying. We don't seem to care about stuff in the community till it impacts our home. How do we attack that? What do we say to the community? Mayor?
Go ahead, Ronnie.
Well, let's deal with this first, because what's amazing is it doesn't affect our community until it happens, right? But if you go back, and I know Howard can attest to this, man, it's been going on since 89, 90, up to the date, all right? And so we experience this stuff in the streets. The thing about it is, when we have a down period, you may say some months where it's nothing happened, we continue to do what we're doing, and then it happens again, it's a problem. So we never put a solution on it, right? Yeah. We put a Band-Aid on it, just like, these last 3 shootings for the last couple of weeks, if you get a month or 2 months where it's nothing, it dies away. And so what happens is we never put a solution to how we're going to fix this problem. But the sad thing about it is, man, we're so immune to it. This stuff has been happening. Hey, we from the late 80s into the 90s, right? This stuff has been going on. It has not stopped since then. So, we have to come up with a platform or ways that we can have this discussion. I think Marvell said it. What's the root? And we don't have enough time to go into the root. But one of the things is, it's sad when I go to my chief of police and he says, Mayor, nobody called 911. And so we can say it's the police, we can say it's elected officials, but man, the residents, the community, we have a big part to play in this. And if we're not even calling 911 when this stuff happens, it's a bigger problem than just your police department. It's a bigger problem than just your elected officials. And listen, I'm the first one to be held accountable. Hold me accountable, because I wouldn't have took the position if I didn't want to be held accountable. But I need to hold the community accountable too, because if we want this to change, I was in a conversation with somebody. I says, me and you, Horace, it's like a 2-hour debate, right? And I'm like, me trying to understand, some of our pioneers, man, they were willing to die for their community. And so now we have to put, the hush hush on, and I understand it, because we want to create, and we'll talk about it later, create ways where, you can share information without you having to worry about it getting back out there. But when we're really ready to make a move in our community, my question is this, and it's a hard question, and probably from the mayor's seat, you probably shouldn't be saying it, but this is real talk. Are you willing to die for your community? That means I'm going to stand up. I'm going to do whatever it takes. Marvell said, to keep my baby safe, to keep my mom and dad safe, who's in their 80s, and where they can feel comfortable, even going to sit outside their homes. But let's not play these games, man. I don't want to come in and play these games like this stuff just happened. This stuff been happening for years. We just come numb to it. It's like we are right with it. We can know what happened. We're not going to say anything. And when, something powerful we came up with, see something, say something, but that's not our reality here in our neighborhood. Our reality isn't see something, say something, but I guarantee you, if you go 3 miles across the bridge, that's their reality, right? If they see something, they're going to say something. You come back west, that's not our reality. And we have to find out, how do we make this our reality where, we can, I can tell you what, March is not going to do it. Nope. All the stuff that happened in the past is not going to do it. But I tell you what, if a community is really tired and say, you know what, we're going to police our own community. That's where the change begins. And if we can ever get there, we will see a great move in our community, Horace. But, I don't want to play with it like this stuff has been going on for so long, to where I believe we are a community or communities in the Black community that we're numb to it, right? Yeah. And how do we change that where we're not numb to it anymore, but we really want to make a change?
Mr. Howard?
Okay, we as black folks must realize that once upon a time we all had one thing in common, that it was the common enemy. You know, we all had other different nationalities, other different races against us. But right now, we are targeting our own people, not just here in Riviera Beach, it's all over the country. You know, the black on black crime, man. It's so sad and I don't know where to turn to. We done tried everything. You know, I don't even know where it's coming from. Because when me and Ronnie was young, we go back a long time ago, and you know, we had our share of the street life, and it used to be gangs of us on the street, like different cliques from different areas. But now you ride through the community, you don't see a soul. So I don't know where it's coming from. You know, and what's the beef? It's nobody making no money. I don't see nobody getting any money out here in the streets. So I don't even know where it's coming from, man. And it's the sad situation. And you bring it pain upon the families, man. You don't realize, you know, behind every action is a reaction. If you riding in a car with somebody, beefing with somebody, they don't care who in the car. It could be kids, mother. It's no loyalty now. Back then, if I had a problem with Ronnie, I was enough man to confront Ronnie one on one. I don't target the whole group or go shoot up a whole scene or a set. You know, that's outside the G code. You know, when I was coming up, we had G code that we live by. You know what I'm saying? No kids involved in anything. No people, parents. You know, if I have a problem with you, Horace, I'm coming directly to you. I'm enough man to tell you I'm sorry. If you don't accept that apology, then by any means necessary, you know. But now I don't understand their code. They don't have no kind of loyalty for life, period, man. For life, period. And we as the cornerstone for the community, man, we have to come together. You know, it's going to be hard for us to talk to them. It's going to take somebody in their own era, you know, that's kind of successful or on their way up to the top for them to gravitate to. You know, because right now we old now. We like my granddaughter just turned 17 today, so I'm looking at where did all the time go. So now they don't really want to listen to us as grandparents, and you 40 in your early 40s, Horace, and right now you consider old in the street game. So if we could reach out to somebody that in that era that they follow up to or listen to, you know, maybe we'll have a better shot that way. Because I don't even know where it's coming from, honestly, my brother.
Before I go to Marvell real quick, I want to say this. I had the pleasure of working in the school system for about 2 years, man. And I got the chance to run into a lot of kids that, you know, grew up, you know, with some of the people we grew up with, their kids are now in the school system, man. And I will say, first off, when we came up, you had some trouble. Mama send you to an uncle, might send you to the pastor. These kids don't listen. These kids listen to rap music. You know, our music influenced us. Music does influence. Anybody can debate me on that. You know, even coming up in my high school years, you know, drug dealing music was glorified, but the music now is talking about taking drugs, you know, being on drugs. But I said all to say to any mother, dad, uncle, man, most of the crimes that's happening in this community right now, these are young kids. I'm talking about 14, 15, 19, 20. And I know a few mothers that have lost their kids, and I talk to them forever. Like, listen, the path he's on is either prison or he gonna get killed. And I looked at you allowing a young man to cohabitate in your house, and you know what he's doing. Go in that closet, go into the bed, search your kids' rooms, because that's where I keep going back to. Kids, parents start crying and people are hurt when it impacts their home. But if you really love your kid, man, take some inventory and see what they really into. Don't glorify it. Find out what they are into, because a lot of kids that I work with at the school system, mama swore they wasn't doing anything, and they were some of the worst little kids, you know, whether they were smoking drugs, whether they carried a pistol. All I'm saying is, you know, we got to step it up as parents, because I can honestly say a lot of people that I went to school with, my generation dropped the ball, and I'll give that. You know, we could do better than what we did. So, Marvell?
Well, I there's a couple points I want to hit on, and with that point, we definitely could do better. I think like I don't talk to a lot of cats in the street that's out around our age, and the first thing they say, man, I ain't finna mess with these jits, man. They're gonna do it. So really, tell you the truth, a lot of cats our age fear these young cats. They actually fear them, you know. But you got some like I got my boy Lawrence, uh, the mayor. I believe he met him once. He was gonna help us out one time with something with at Home Depot. But anyways, he just posted a status earlier. I shared it, and he said he walked in the store last night and it was two legits about to fight. He thought one of them. He said he think one of them had a gun, but he said he talked to both of them and they listened. You know, he old, he like our age, and they listened. He said they shook hands and all it took was a symbol. But if it was one of those type, they're like there was one of them scared type. So that's why like right now we got to point the finger at ourselves. We can't point the finger at them because we're dealing with a generation of men that's in our era that's cowards. You know, we not like my boy. What he did last night, it wasn't cowardly. That was manly. And maybe it could be a lot more people. We like the cats our age got to stop acting like cowards. Like we sitting back, and that's where we dropping the ball at because, like I said, we being selfish. Oh yeah, I got my family now. I got all that. Yeah, but you got your family. But what if one of your family members catch a stray bullet because you don't want to go out there and get out in the community from the same person that you could have helped better his life? He do something stupid, and one of your family members that you love catch a stray bullet from this same person because you want to be a coward. See, that's why we got to start getting these men and explaining these scenarios. Because I say right now, how I look at life, a lot of people have a natural instinct of being selfish. Some people know how to control it, you know, but I believe all of us have a selfish character in us. And when it comes to the community, there's a lot of selfish people, and they sit back and they'll blame the mayor. As soon as something go down, they'll blame the mayor, but they're not paying attention to the three fingers that's pointed back at them. They're not paying attention to what they could be doing or what they didn't do or what they're not doing. Like you were saying, their parents, they're not going, they want to be their kids' friend. They're so scared to lose them that they're not chastise them. Then you got the system won't let you chastise them, and then you got these kids, they getting grown because they're being influenced by so many from social media. Social media is a big part of why a lot of these kids dying because they get on there and they want to, you know, it's all about trying to everybody trying to get clout. That's a big thing. So you want clout, and a lot of these cats, they telling on themselves as soon as they do something. Soon they're going right to social media and they telling it because they know the community is not gonna say nothing as usual with the stigma. They going right on and they subliminally saying that they did this, murders and all. And like I said, they just for clout. And, you know, and you got these same people that's talking about rest in peace, that's going to like the status. You see what I'm saying? You see how that's flipping?
Yeah.
The same people saying rest in peace, they're going to like the status of the killer that did the killing. Like that's what's going. A lot of that is going on right now, and people want to play stupid, but you know that's what's going on. It ain't, you know, and like I say, you and this a whole lot. It go real deep.
Let me not to cut you off, Marvell. Mayor Felder, since we talking about solutions today, and you know, me and you had a 2-hour debate about the snitching and whatnot. I remember back in the days we had the signs up about, you know, Crime Stoppers and, you know, if you wanted to report a crime and whatnot. I don't see any of that around anymore, and I'm a big proponent of that. Is that something that's still in play, or something that we can establish where someone can call with anonymous tip?
Yeah, and something I'm working with the chief of police, Chief Osgood, who by the way, I want to put this out. He's only been there a couple of months, man, and he's really adamant about the crime in our neighborhoods and really fighting and putting a solution to it. And one of the things we talked about was Crime Stoppers, which is still here, but it's just kind of, you know, getting it back going. And he's working on some stuff right now where one of my concerns were, after even in the conversation with you, Horace, was people being comfortable enough to call in with the assurance that their information won't get out. And that's something we're working on now. Just make sure somebody calling to Crime Stoppers. We want to make sure that whatever you tell us is kept secret, that we're not going to compromise your life for any of that information. So you'll be hearing more about it. I know he's working on it right now. Something I kind of asked him is let all those calls go to you, Chief, that they don't go nowhere else, and we try to tackle it that way. So that's just one solution that we're going to talk about. Another, I seen and Councilman Lawson had posted something the other day when the kid got shot and he was asking for help. And I read on one of the posts that says, we need dads, and we can go really deep. I know we don't have a whole lot of time here. Going back to that root, and so I want to do some more, Marvell, when we talk about the root, because this stuff ain't just started happening. But when you're talking about a dad, this is the key, man. I was before I became the mayor, man, working with young cats from S Avenue, bringing them into my center, sitting them down, something like a pound of weed and having food for them and having a conversation. But one of the things that hurt me the most is I probably had like 12 young cats in there. One of the cats said, on my whole block, it's not one dad. How do you deal with that? When you got a cat sitting next to me say, on my whole block, it's not one daddy, that's an issue, right? And so as we try, Marvin, you said we can't play the blame game. The question is this, right? Are you willing to be a dad to a kid that you didn't lay down to have? Are you willing to be a dad to a kid that you physically didn't lay down with the mama and have? Because we're out of that season now talking about we need dads, but when you're dealing with one of these young cats, man, that's already feel rejected because his dad may not want him, or his dad got caught up in the life of the streets and he's 6 feet under, then how do you deal with him? Right? He has so many issues. And it goes back to what Marvell says, then we got to go back and take him and be his dad. And that's the work that has to be put in place for this. The question is, are we really ready to put the work in? Like, am I really ready to adopt 3 sons that don't belong to me by my wife, but I'm going to raise them like they're my sons because I know they don't have that male figure. And so when you're looking around, I know it's easy to say that, but go sit down with a kid and tell him about if you don't have a dad, what are you going to do? Right. And so we have to have these honest dialogues about, getting some real men together, going and snatching these young cats up and becoming their dads. We have something we call mentors, right? Which is cool because you have mentors are good when one part of the strategy is to mentor kids that's coming up in elementary, right? You want to start there, right? Kindergarten, first grade, second grade, stop mentoring them. But when you catch a cat that's 16, 17, 18 that don't have a daddy, 14, 15, 16, they need a dad in their life. And so I want to get some men together and say, are you ready to be a dad when you didn't sleep with the mama? Because enough blaming, I can't even blame the mama, right? Because she has issues, right? So you got a mama having kids with issues. The baby comes out, don't have a daddy. He has issues. Now the whole community is flooded with issues, but nobody really want to talk about the issue, right? And so we have to start there, man, and have men come together and say, we're going to adopt some of these young cats and do whatever it takes to walk them through this life. Because something hit me, Horace. I said, I have an ex. And my ex was Howard have an ex. You have an ex, Horace. Marvin have an ex. Some of these cats don't get to the part they don't get to the part of life where the life of the streets become their ex. Right? Mm-hmm. You're an ex-street dude. You're an ex-street dude. Mm-hmm. I'm an ex-street dude. Some of these cats don't make it to the ex. Mm-hmm. They die in it. And so, we have to show them the way. And I think some of them will listen to us just if we can sit down and tell them our story, right? And then walk them through. Let this life become your ex. And then you can, hey, 20 years ago, nobody could tell me I was going to be the mayor. 20 years ago, you couldn't tell me I was going to be in ministry. You know what I'm saying? So, but I played it out. I had some positive people in my life that was telling me it can be better. And one day I woke up and said, I want to change. And then, the sky's the limit. But it became my ex. When I look at my boy, too, man, to look at him putting some food together and look at his life 20, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, he won't think about being no chef 30 years ago. You know what I'm saying? But that life became his ex. You know what I'm saying? When I'm looking at Marvell drawing, cutting trees, 15 years ago, but it became his ex. And when we look at our young cats, and it was somebody positive in our life that was telling us we can do better and life can change. And so I think, where are the men that want to be dads when the kid don't belong to them? That's deep. Ponder that, because that's what it's going to take.
Yeah.
And I'm going to chime in on hold up, Mark. I'm gonna chime in on what you're saying, Ronnie. In order for you to get something you never had, you got to do something you never done.
That's
And
good.
saying that to say this about the mayor thing, that in our street days, you wasn't in your wildest dreams, you would have never thought this would have happened. And back to the final plan, like you were saying, getting together with the chief of police to try to resolve that. If we can beat that before it comes to that, that's the final episode. Because in reality, once that happens, we still gonna lose to the system. And if we show them love, man, a lot of these kids walk around on somebody with their head up. Nobody tell them they love them. You know what I'm saying? And they self-esteem, they self-esteem, they waiting on somebody else to validate their self-esteem. You know what I'm saying? In reality, you gotta look also, you gotta have love for yourself at a young age. I'm not gonna do what Gary did next door to get Gary 100 years or so on. You gotta kind of at a young age, you know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people that was brought up without a father figure, but that didn't stop them from excelling in life. We use that a lot. The father's not there. The father's not there. It's sometimes you just gotta grab these kids, man, and just let them know that you love them, man. Let these kids know that it's love in the air. It's love in the community. And you raise a kid, continue to tell that kid he's bad. All sit down. You so bad. Eventually he's gonna get him to think that. You know what I'm saying? So a man thinks, so is he. But if you tell these kids that you're gonna be great, you're gonna be the greatest person ever, and keep telling that day by day by day by day, they gonna gravitate that. Because at that age right now, at the age that the crimes are going on right now, these kids are like sponges. They absorb everything that comes to them. Deciphering what's going on in life. Behind every action, a reaction. And if you involve yourself with things in life, either you're gonna be a liability or a commodity. You know what I'm saying? Either or. It's just that simple. You know what I'm saying? If you put yourself around harm's way, hang out with these certain dudes, now you're becoming a liability because you associated with the other person. But you tell the kids you love them, man. You got to tell the kids you love them at a young age and let them know that it's other things than the street. One thing about the streets, and I know the streets well, can't nobody tell me nothing about the streets because I know the streets inside and out. I've been there. Ronnie been there. We started together. In the streets, you have to pay tithes to the streets like you're in the church house. You know what I'm saying? And the bottom line
how are you breaking up?
It's only two ways out. You're either gonna die or go to jail. Everybody on? You hear me, Horace?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's you got to pay your tithes to the streets. Just like Ronnie said, it's a blessing to be an ex-street member. You know what I'm saying? I sit back and look at how God done brought me through things, and I'm still here. So it's a purpose. It's a purpose. Okay, Harry, you can go ahead and to the next.
Hey, but hey, let me touch that because that's good, man. And I know how. I mean, you really blessed. If y'all don't know, you listen to this brother 10 minutes. If you ain't changed, you'll change. They talk about purpose, man. And you're absolutely right. Let's touch because we would make an excuse that there's no dad in the house. But going back to what Horace was saying about community, and I know a lot of people back in that day didn't have dads, but they had a community, right? Community was that teacher. So you didn't just because you didn't have a dad, you wasn't liking anything because the community came around you. And so, we're living in a day where, many of us don't know who stays 3-4 houses down from us, right? And so then you got parents that say, well, don't mess with my child, right? And so that whole village scenario has been wiped out of our community to where, we're dealing, it's costing us right now. We are feeling the effects of it, right now. Going back to, like you said, so it's no codes. Us coming from the streets, from the older OGs taught us something. We came in, as you said, we paid a tithe, but we still respect it, right? I remember the day we could be on the corner, but if an old lady come in the store, we gonna open the door for her. We ain't gonna cuss around. I mean, but you don't see that today. You know what I'm saying? And so from that era of us being brought up by community, what we never lost is our respect, right? It's no respect today. You know what I'm saying? And they don't even grow, they don't even have a chance to understand what respect is, because I believe this, and I was telling my kids this. I believe I'm standing today because of respect, right? And obedience. Now, I was a disobedient child, but it's just certain things, like you said, it was certain codes, man, we would not go by. You know what I'm saying? And today, it's no codes. It's do as thou wilt. Whatever you feel, whatever feels good, let's do it. So we're paying for it today.
Marvell?
Yeah. What are you saying about the no respect? I feel like it ain't no respect. It's reason why there ain't no respect, and the reason why there ain't no respect mainly because there's no knowledge. You know, how can you respect something you don't know what's going on? A lot of these kids, see, if I'm born and I'm taught 1 + 1 = 5 all my life, and that's all the knowledge I got, I could be 40 years old. You ask me what's 1 + 1, I'm gonna tell you 5. So if a person was never taught love, they don't know how to give it. If a person never taught, so a lot of these kids, they're never taught. Well, the things that they're taught is what they're given, and they're not taught respect. You know, they're not given no knowledge. When we was coming up, the OGs gave us knowledge. When they taught us, they didn't just give us $1 or $2. They gave us some knowledge, and that's not there. So how is we gonna knowledge and respect go hand in hand? So we won't respect if we're not creating these platforms to spread knowledge. Knowledge ain't out in the streets. We see that all these kids, they idle. So all they just going out in the streets and getting what's coming to them. Like Howard was saying, we not telling them they love them. The right people, they hearing it, but not they hearing it from little JoJo that just sit right around the corner. He getting you, hey boy, you know I love you, boy. That's where he hearing it from, and that's where he gravitates to. He hearing it, they hearing it. Now, I'm from the streets. A lot of people told me they love me, that they never proved it. They just told me because they wanted to reel me in. They wanted to make me feel like, and know what, they may fight with me, they may kill with me, but they're not gonna tell me how to get through a situation with my mom or my dad. That's a real friend. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's no knowledge being out there. It's just, you know, like I said, the knowledge is you can't even consider it knowledge. It's just people using each other. A lot of these older cats, they putting guns and drugs in these young cats' hands. They got to get it from somewhere. Where they getting the guns from? Where they getting it from?
Well, listen, me growing up on SF, I can honestly say, you know, when I tried to come on the block and might see see Howard them, they would slap me so hard and send me back home. You know what I mean? Wasn't no young dude standing on the corner. You know what I mean? Dudes, I got a lot of friends that's already dead or in prison that was like, nah, don't come on the corner. Go, well, you're gonna make it to the NFL and get us all out of here. And that stuff I never forgot. But you know, when you're dealing with the kids today, just like you guys have all added something. Again, we have a situation where now a lot of the young, and I'm not blaming the kids, but I'm asking as far as the parents. I said my generation dropped the ball. And my homework's gonna be doing better as a uncle. I'm gonna get to know the people on my street better because I got a whole street full of youth that just moved in and I don't know them. And I can say guilty. I say so many of them that I ain't even bothered, you know. But to the moms, the uncles, you know, having that conversation or being that dad for the, you know, the nephew and the family that nobody want to deal with, you know, going in that room, you know, hey, what you got going on? I think, again, we can all do so much better than we have. Like Marvell kind of said earlier, we've been selfish or we don't want to be bothered. But the thing that made me get into politics is they say that a crackhead that's what he chasing that first high. Riviera Beach was a community where, man, we had police, I had judges, Riviera Beach was so amazing. And that's what probably drew me into politics, man. I remember what Riviera Beach was, and that's what I've been fighting to try to be part of the change. You know, will we ever get back to that point? Probably not. But I know we got to make an effort to make it better than it is, you know.
I think we can. We got, see, like I said, it's all about knowledge. We don't got no platforms to tell people that Riviera Beach is the only black predominant city with our own port on this, we're on with along the East Coast, where a lot of these kids don't know, a lot of these grown-ups don't know that. So how they gonna treat this like a treasure and they don't know it's a treasure? Most people that I talk to, that man, I can't wait to leave. I tell them, man, look, you better stay here for another 5 years. You own this house. I done had people, man, I'm finna sell my house. I had to tell a dude older than me, I look, man, you could move somewhere, but keep your house. I like this prime real estate. I like, don't sell your house. I like within the next 5 to 7 years, your house gonna be worth so much. I like, don't, it's a lot of people, they, like I said, they ain't, and then when it come to community, like we putting out this word community, and then there's no knowledge there, because if you look to the root words of community, you have commune and unity. So we're not communing and having unity. When you break that word apart, that's what you get. And we're not doing none of that.
Right.
So like I said, we have to, like I said, it all start with a root. We can't, that's how a tree grows. The biggest tree in the world, most beautiful tree, is root system. You take away the root system, it has nothing. You give it a root system, it has everything. And the root system spread just as far as the canopy. So like I said, the root system gonna grow with everything else. But we have to be, like I said, if it's just us or the other, because we have to step up, and we can't keep complaining. Like you said, ain't no dads and all. Yeah, we could create a platform and become dads, but on top of that platform, we have to, because I remember that story when y'all told us that y'all brought Buck. Wow, y'all say y'all brought it. Now we had the meeting, and you and Howard, y'all was explaining how y'all brought them guys in there. And they was like, we'll leave the street, but what y'all gonna, y'all and they were like, what y'all got? So I mean, it's a whole lot, but it's like, it's a lot to tackle, and we definitely can't tackle it in one podcast. But we know that we have to we have to take action, and this podcast definitely a good start. And like I said, we've been started, us four, we've been moving on this, and this is just like something like we extra, but we've been doing this, and now it's now for other people to start, because it's gonna take the entrepreneurs in the city play a big part in bringing peace.
Well, and let's talk about this, Marvell, because you're right. Some people know, the average person may not know. Howard, you, myself, was doing stuff, man, even before I was on this platform. We were spending money, going to park and bringing people in and having events and having big basketball tournaments and stuff like that, right? And so if we can get those entrepreneurs and businesses to, I think, something that we had some years back was working. If we can come together and just get people to help back that and come up with, because again, as we meet again, I mean, we're talking about some issues, but let's wrap around some solutions and say, you know what? We have a solution for it. We're just going to need your help to make sure we carry this out, because we've been working, and the average person may not know that. Like, these cats been working for these streets, years ago, working to trying to help change it. And what people don't realize, though, it's a heavy weight. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, you need people to come with you, because the weight is heavy, when you are so adamant and passionate about being a part of the change of your community. But the more people we have with us, man, the lighter it is, the lighter the burden is to carry. Everybody can carry a piece, and I believe we'll begin to see the change. But I think just with us, man, we've kind of we've been out there to know what works. It's that we're just calling people to come with us, man, to make this movement happen.
Hey, Mayor,
and
go ahead, Howard.
I want to chime in on something, and me being a 52-year-old man, I'm still going through different parts of life changing, and the different levels of life. And what defines a man is the way that he reacts to any situation that he's brought upon. And for me to get a peace of mind and an elevation level to incline is, I journal a lot. And right now I'm journaling. I got a little slogan: who am I? Who am I as a friend, as a husband, as a father, as a cousin, as a nephew? And I decipher each one that I can make better. Who am I as a father? What could I do as a father figure to to elevate. Same thing as a husband, a friend. You know what I'm saying? Some of them things it's not gonna go parallel together.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them gonna be outweighed each other. And that's what I do as a man. I'm older than you and Horace, you and Marvell, and this is something that you can apply to your life too. Never in your wildest dream that you thought you would be in politics. That was far fetched. You know what I'm saying? But now you at that level. Now you're gonna go into another turning point of your life. Once you hit that 45 age and 50, like me and Ronnie, you're gonna start to see things even clearer. But I still haven't got a full clear view about who am I. So it's a process. And if we could go to these kids and break that down to them, like, who am I as this 14-year-old? What could I do now at this young age to prevent me in 5 years from being this person? And that's what you have to do. You got to self think. You know what I'm saying? You got to teach yourself the different aspect of life, man, that it's rough out here with the coronavirus. We facing so many different things, and God's trying to tell us something. People don't realize the shortest verse in the Bible is that God wept. That's the shortest verse in the Bible, that God wept. Them 2 words. And he's crying over not just our nation, upon all nations. You know what I'm saying? And it's real powerful. Like you seen hell in Riviera like the other day, like I never seen before. People showing pictures of hell. It's the signs. It's the turning of time, man, that we got to grab. We got to take and heed what God is trying to tell us. God is weeping, man. And when God weeps, he going to have a whole lot of us weeping behind him. You got parents that kids getting lost to the street. You got people that's losing multiple family members for one violence in 1 week. You look at the signs, man. And with this violence going on in the streets, which they don't even supposed to be in the street. With the things that the way that the country is locked down, it's crazy, man. But we gonna do better. We gonna get through this here, man. We gonna get through this. It's gonna take a lot of sacrifice and a lot of guidance, man. And then I just pray that God continue to bless us and show us the way, man. Show us the way. God weeping.
Not to cut y'all, Howard. Not to cut y'all, Mayor. I know we already talked about one solution, and I know somebody said they had a question. We'll go to it in a second. But when you talk to, and there's no disrespect to a lot of the mentoring groups right there, because mentoring is important. But with my experience with a lot of these kids, like we all saying, everybody can't go to them. They not even going to listen. They not even going to let you talk to them about anything. It's like they come back to the phrase, real recognize real. And them kids can look at you, and if they don't respect you, because a lot of times they go at them wrong. Oh, I used to be on the street, Kids know what's real. And you say you had Buck Wild Boys at one time, and now can we go at some point we ain't telling them when we're going, but let's go through each neighborhood and sit down with the cats, and just give them an ear. That way they can't never say nobody ever came and said, listen, this is what we're trying to tell you, and it's coming from some veterans.
Well, let me tell you, man.
Hold up. Let me chime in on that right quick. All right, but right now, how you say go to the street? Where are they in the streets? So we got to come up with another. I don't see them in the streets. So if we could put up something like Facebook. We do going now with younger people speaking upon it, where all I'm tuning to that since they so hooked into the computers and everything. So maybe that'll be a route. Because when you go through the streets in certain neighborhoods, I don't see nobody in the neighborhood.
Howard, I gotta hip you to the game later. These cats on another thing. Trust me, they put a message out there, but it's years behind what we were doing. They'll put it in a song or they'll put it in Facebook, but they ain't on the streets, But listen, we know how to get them. If we say Ronnie gonna meet with them, blah blah blah, you'll be surprised who show up.
Well, and that's the thing, man. Even and I'm always inspired, man. Not just I listening to Howard, man, and what he brings to the table. I just know if I can put about 5 young cats in front of him and let him speak, man, they're gonna be like, wow, right? Because what he says is impactful, right? And that's what these young cats need, and I have it, man. Probably last year. So, man, I'm used to seeing cats and riding up on them. Some dudes used to freak out with me from ministry that we would be surprised. I just stop and get out the car and we'll just talk to some young cats, right? because that's what it is. I mean, you have to, and we had a saying, you got to stop. If you keep riding by, you're not going to you're not going to reach them. And big shout out to Shipman, Al Shipman, and the football coaches, man, that have for years allowed me to come out there. Every year I go every week to speak to the football team, and we get real. They're able to hear my story and identify. They have accepted me. So that there's, like I said, there's a prevention part that we want to be touching those guys too, because they're at a delicate time in their life where they have decisions to make. And so you want to lead them the right way too, and give them good mentors and men that they can look up to. And then you have these guys, these young guys that's in the streets that don't know anything. And I don't care what he say. I just believe if I can get 5 or 10 of them in front of him, what he have to tell them, they're gonna listen to him, because he's seasoned in what he's saying. And not hyping the brother up, man, but I'm just amazed. Because again, once you've been with a brother for so long and you see where they are now, I mean, I can sit and listen to the brother all day. I just know if I can get some cats in front of them. But that's what it's going to take, Horace, is creating those platforms, whether it's social media, whether it's meeting up with them, taking them out to eat or something. Let's have this dialogue. And here goes the key. Ask them, what can we help them do to change? Right? We don't know. But we asking you guys, what can we do to help you guys out? And let's start there and get, it might be, man, and you'll be amazed, man. I mean, you guys hit it, man. Like, I haven't been hugged in I don't know how long. I ain't been told I've been loved. And Marvell, you hit it because, you can be told you loved in the streets. And that's all the love you get, and that's all you're going to go after, because that's how you experience love. But to have somebody tell you, I love you and I want to see you do better, some of that, it's not in these young people's lives. And we have to create those platforms where, we truly love you, man, because, you look at you part of us. You know what I'm saying? We want to see you do better. So whatever it takes, man, as we begin to put solutions around this, I think what everybody said is paramount, but really start to dig into what it's going to take. And how more guys, Marvell, more guys that, change their life. I'm thinking about our friend Howard, Sam Kennedy. I've been looking at some of Sam's stuff, man. I'm like, man, Sam own it. And I want to get Sam on the call because I know, these young cats, if we create a platform where they can hear, that's the first part. If you don't create a platform where they can hear it, then what are they listening to? Right. And so it's cats like Sam, it's cats like you guys. These guys need to hear, and we need to create that platform where they can hear and listen.
And another thing, Ronnie, Mayor, we could get Vincent McDaniel, hit the mic.
Exactly.
That's been on the other side of the gate. That done all that time on the other side of the gate. But now he's such a citizen, a productive citizen, when he's on his second book writing. You know what I'm saying? So if you look at that growth, that'll be another insight too, man.
That's right.
That's been on the other side of that gate.
That's right.
Hey, and see when we're talking about getting these kids to listen, and like I said, it's a thin line with that, trying to find someone to listen. So we gotta, like I said, meet them halfway with what they like. We gotta fish for that person or those people that got, because these kids, they like material stuff, they like the shiny stuff. So we gotta find people with that balance that could show them, because that's what they see when they go out there. They attract to that. That's what it's all. So we can find people that has that persona, but at the same time, the mindset that we have, it'll make them, because they're gonna automatically draw. Because these kids, they just draw to success. They just want money, and they just want to. So we got to show them success. That's why I said the entrepreneur is gonna play a big part, because a lot of the entrepreneurs, they don't make themselves seen. So these kids, you're not able to see the big contractors. I got my cousin Ezra, he one of the big contractors. He do little things and have like little small seminars, but you got to make yourself seen. Let these kids see that you can make 7 figures and still live in Riviera by just doing this. Like I said, all that goes back to the knowledge. I trim trees. All us do something that way. Like I said, we could show success, but we gotta show them and let them. When I take these guys to work, I be having My guy the other day, he ain't never think about tree trimming, but he see me go there, he see me make money, he see I'm able to pay them, and now he's like, man, I've been thinking about getting me a truck, and you know, I go out, and so that's what we want. We got to show success. When we show a way, then after that, people and see that's the best way, because like I said, we don't want to be a martyr. I don't want to be a martyr, but I love my community, so it's a way to go about it. We got to be successful ourselves, and then put that on display. A lot of our successful people in Riviera, they become successful and they shoot off to another state. And then you got other states. I know people that's all types, sometimes judges, all that, and they got their success here and they went somewhere else and they're innovating other kids, which that's all good because all kids need it. But how about here? It's a lot of successful people that I know that's from here that left, that took their talents elsewhere. They pulled the LeBron and they took their talents elsewhere, instead of leaving it here and building. But a lot of them don't have the knowledge of how powerful this city is. So they moved to a city that's that's nothing compared to Riviera because of the little stigma, the crime and all that, when you're not realizing, like I tell people, and I get deep into it, I tell people all the time, a lot of this crime, these people, these big investors, they want it to go on because it lowered the property values. And now you having 5 to 7 years, you got these big investors coming to buy up all the property. They did for example, Rosemary. You see what they finna do to Rosemary? Rosemary, one of the worst, even before my time, I done heard about one of the worst streets in the country at one point. Little old Rosemary, but right now they finna make it into it's gonna be $1 million area, $1 billion area. Wow. So it's like that because it was so much crime, the value lowered. So that's what our people don't understand. Like the more crime, and then after that, you get moved out, and then we're not owning no properties. Well,
let me chime in right quick, Horace. That's been going on, not just on in here. You got to read the book. It's called The Lesson of High Tide, and what it is, where the interstates, what was separating the poverty line for the rich community. It's been going on. It goes on in every city. You know what I'm saying? So, and then we don't want to get the kids so fascinated with, it's so much more than success than money. If you're successful in the mind, can't nobody never take that away from you. Monetary gains you can lose, but once you get rich and wealthy in the mind, that's forever. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So we got to look at that form too. Instead of just success with money, but the mind. We already heard that saying when we were young. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, and that's priceless. Once you get that, once you elevate your intellectual properties, man, you're gonna go through the good time and bad time, but you're gonna learn the different levels of life as you go through it. You know what I'm saying? So that's a good thing, though. What you're saying, Marvell, that's a good thing. By me being a chef,
it's all about balance. It's about balance.
Yeah, but
now, I still got a question.
If we can get together one day, I'm a chef. Marvell, he's an artist. You got different people with different talents. If we could do something at Jay's ministry, like one day we have an art class on a Wednesday, where Marvell showing the techniques of the drawing. I'm a chef. I showing the techniques to cooking, and we like
we got that kitchen. That cooking kitchen.
Yeah, so we could use different things, man, for them to gravitate to it.
That's good, Howard. Use what we have.
Yeah. Use that resource, man.
I was waiting to see if we had a question. Somebody said we had a question, but I see someone that was mentioning the PIT program. If y'all remember that was in high school where a lot of people did the job training program, and I know that did take a lot of people off. Are we past, Mayor? Are we past that point? Would bringing that, it needs to come back, but would bringing that back be very impactful right now in our urban community?
I think it will, because it kept a lot. It gave you the opportunity to work. You know what I'm saying? To get out, make some money, go on a job. And shameless plug. I have to plug it because you said it. That's why it's important for us to do our census, right? Because it's money that be trickling down to your city. That right now, Riviera Beach is 9th in the county. Fill out the census. Well, it's going to affect us down the line, right? That if everybody showed up, then we can advocate for some money to say, no, we want to start a PIT program, right? We can earmark that money for a PIT. So that's what it's just education educating the community, understanding, you're just not doing this to do it. You're doing it to benefit your community. And we can bring some of those programs back. I think, a lot of I never did pick because my dad had a paint and body shop. I had to, if I want to make extra money, I had to be there. But a lot of kids benefited from that pick program.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. And me and my wife just were talking about the census thing last night too. And people don't realize that's how the government pour money into that community. If you just don't, even if you don't send it back, you could get on the computer right now and count the members in your household and send it out, send it back, and that's very important. We just were talking about that last night, my brother.
Yeah. And just before Howard's go, I mean, we're at 33,000 people here. We've only had like 13,500 people fill it out so far.
You've had less than that vote annually, in every one of our elections.
Well, that's a whole nother.
Throw that stat out there. Oh, well, somebody said, well, what's our takeaway? I know, you said that you guys are going to establish the line where someone can actually, come in and give some information and feel comfortable giving a tip to a crime. What's our takeaway?
Well, I think that's in works, but listening to Brother Howard, man, and saying, that's one element that we're going to do to help fight crime. But our agenda should be this, because when that happens, that means it's already taken place, right? And so there's consequences for our action. So we know if somebody has to call in for a crime, it's two things going to happen. Either somebody's been hurt or somebody's on their way to jail or whatever, right? And so one thing we can take away is, I think it's positive, these brothers say, hey, listen, I'm a cook, I'm a chef. We got a commercial kitchen that, we can bring some cats in and teach them how to cook. Marvella's an artist. And so I think that's the most powerful thing we can take away from this conversation tonight is, let's use the resources that we have. Let's get together and compile those resources. So that way, when we're able to go out to be more of a preventative, we can say, hey, come over here and let me teach you this trade, right? But in the meanwhile, I mean, we know that we have to handle stuff from the legal aspect also, because we have to, people elected us to handle and fight crime also. And working along with the chief is one aspect that we'll be rolling out, what our Crime Stoppers is all about, putting education around that and putting some dollars to it. And because we're serious about cleaning up our community. Another thing you'll be hearing me talk about is the recap program, but I probably bring Al DeMarshall on to just share what that program is all about. So, this is one of many conversations that we're having, and you guys know, man, we can talk, but I like solution tables, and as long as we're able to come up with solutions and it's being felt in our community, I'm all about this. But that's what we can take that. These two guys have come up with a plan that, listen, if you got a kid that want to learn how to cook, send them to us. If you got a kid that want to know some art, send them to us. And so we can start compiling that information and getting with some of our entrepreneurs that we can place some of these kids with to get a job or learn a trade.
Well, Mayor, first off, you ain't going to treat me like I'm Tommy or Martin. I have had 3 successful businesses, but if there are any kids out there, every kid seems like they want to be in the music business. And I tell anybody, music is 90% business, 10% music. And if we get some kids, some young men, because that's what everyone's doing, I would, give them tips, show them, and teach them what I learned in the industry to be a real music artist, and Marvell's one of my favorite rappers as well. So, that's you got a nice cast of people here to put something together. And before we go, someone said we talk all the time. Who will create, implement, and measure successful tactical plan? To Ms. Evelyn's point, that's pretty much what we just did. Now we came up with 2 solutions on the phone.
And let me say this, because it's easy to sit on the sideline and dictate. Come with us. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the thing. What are we going to do? It's going to take all of us. And no disrespect. I mean, it's not a one-person thing. This problem that we're facing, it's just not a Riviera Beach thing. I think Howard touched on it. It's not a West Palm Beach thing. If you go in any state in this country where it's a Black community, we're facing the same thing. So you can't just look at it narrow-minded and say it's a Riviera Beach issue. I want to say this: it's a Black folk issue. And and I'm just gonna be real, being the mayor, it's a black folk issue. And it's gonna take all of us to come up with plans and say, this is what we're going to bring to the table. Because as long as we've been looking for other people to do it, we stay in the same spot. It's going to take all of us. So we need you to come and say, what talent do you have where we can place you in a position, we can send some young girls to you. Because we're talking about boys, but we got to push our young girls too. And so that's what we want to leave here today saying, listen, we're going to have a community that's going to come together, that's going to have talents that we can all come together and make this thing work. It's not an I. It's not a me, it's not a you, it's us.
And know what a big thing with, because when we were doing LIP, there's a lot of people that wanted to join. And the thing about it, people got to know that don't worry about how much you are able to do. If we're trying to reach to the number 100 and you're just able to donate 2, that's good, because some teams lose by 2, the biggest game. So just your little 2 is important. So just because Mayor Felder able to put 30 up, this person don't be insecure about your little 2-3 points. Whatever you able to do, the littlest thing, if you're able to just carpool and help some kids get to the facility, that's major. I tell people all the time, it takes for a body to walk. When we get up and walk, it takes for all the body parts to to do its function. If people don't want to be the pinky toe, because it's one of the smallest parts, but without your pinky toe, you're walking off balance. So don't look at the little things that you're not, that I just got this. They might not know. We're gonna appreciate any little thing. That's what it's gonna take. Hey,
Mayor, before you say that, I want to say to co-sign on what you said. You know why female mentoring is so important? I learned this in the school system. I went to 3 different schools. The young girls, boys are always going to be after girls. And at one school, that thug image, whatever, them girls were not going for. They wanted the clean cut shirt and pants. Boy, look that. So girls, young women always dictate the scale of what,
Well, that's the key. I mean, and we're men, we know that, right? I mean, listen, ain't no hate to the guy that wears his pants down. It's just not my era, right? I ain't tripping on it. It's their era. But what I would tell girls, even my wife mentored, or even my daughters, and sometimes they don't listen because they get grown and they want to do. But it's whatever you do. If you allow us to do that, right, we gonna do it. But if we want you enough, and you say I'm not going to have that, we kind of conform to that, and that's not going to change. That's the power of a woman within itself. So we only do what you allow us to do, but that's a whole nother conversation in your dating relationships, Horace Towns. But listen, I'm gonna let you speak, Howard, because I'm thankful for you guys coming on. This is what we're going to do, and we didn't put a name to it, but whatever it's going to be. And I want to tell the listeners this, man. Come whatever you have to say, because one thing, even if it's something that's going to be harsh that may come at your mayor, come. This is what this platform is all about. I'm not coming on here to sugarcoat anything, and I don't want you to sugarcoat anything. But one thing we can do is we can disagree to agree. Maybe you don't know me and I don't know you, or you have some thoughts or whatever, some questions. Let's create this where we become community. We got 33,000 people here in our community. Hey, let's get to know one another. My uncle always taught me it's all right to disagree to agree, but when you don't know a person, that's the hard part. Let's get to know each other and see how we can move the city forward. Howard,
closing comments, Howard.
Okay, and a suggestion: the next time that we have a sit down like this, why don't we bring some women motivational speakers on? You know what I'm saying? Because the women is such a valuable part of the community, of this whole movement. That mother love, that it starts from there, because they got 9 months in advance on us with the child. So it's very important, man, that we hit the young girls out too. Because in the long run, if the young men get killed or go to prison and they have a kid from this child, the child is lost. So that's where a lot of the non-father figures not in the household, because the kid is not, the father's gone. So that's where it started. It's not like the father just up and walked out. Half of them having kids now, either the dad in jail or the dad dead. So if we bring like Sister Carla on, Ronnie, you know what I'm saying, or your cousin.
Oh, no. Jennifer. Tell Jennifer, don't run and hide, right?
No, she ain't gonna hide. She ain't gonna hide. Yeah, we have a lot of pillow talk, man. This thing get deep.
That's what I'm talking about, man. I mean, they've been there. They've been. You know, one thing about Jen and Carla, I mean, they've been there. They seen it. They worked through it. They raised kids, right? What better person to speak to them but them? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they know it.
Hey, Mayor.
Yeah.
What I was going to say is, hopefully, Howard, you know, we had to do this. Well, this might be the future overall, but everyone, like, we're doing this because of the pandemic. So a lot of people, but hopefully in the future, we're able to go into a real town hall, whether it's at Jay's or City Hall, and have this where we have a large population of people. But someone already asked, Mayor, when are we thinking about? We need to get together after this video and see when the next time we're going to have this, because I know a lot of people want to tune in and a lot of people want to give their input.
Next week at the same time.
Okay.
Next week, 7:30. What it is? Wednesday?
I didn't know what day it was.
Mm-hmm.
What day is it?
Yeah, it's
Wednesday won't be a good day because that's where council meetings stuff on Wednesday.
Council.
You don't know the pandemic, man. You don't know what day it is. But a day next week, and we'll put it out. What day it's going to be. But this is something that we want to do every week and discuss different topics. I know some topics that hit that we wasn't able to expound on, but we want to make sure that we're touching real raw topics where we can all come together, man, and make this change.
Yeah, let's talk Tuesday or something. Let's talk Tuesday.
Yeah, man.
Whatever.
We'll see what works for us.
And keep it raw. I mean, this ain't something I may be crossing some lines because I'm the mayor with some of the stuff I'm going to say. But you know, man, this is what it's all about. And I believe through truth, we can come to a medium to bring that change. And all of us need to be accountable. I'm the first one to say, as the mayor of this city, hold me accountable. I'm not going to do everything the way you want me to do it. I'm going to make mistakes like we always make mistakes. But one thing you guys need to know is I'm from here 50 years. Riviera Beach is in my blood. And I'm going to do everything to make sure, listen, because part of it was this. When I decided to run for mayor, this is what came to me. I was a part of helping to destroy the city. What better way to come back and be a part of fixing it back up? I'm very adamant about that. And I know you guys are too, you know what I'm saying? And so it's just good to be around like-minded people that say, you know what, we can do it. So to answer that question, we'll be on every week.
All right. And my apologies. Listen, this is my first time in a long time behind the broadcast booth, but it was important for us to get out there. The mayor every day say, hey, when we can get on air and just have a candid conversation. So to Marvell and Howard, my apologies if I was rusty a little bit, but I thank you guys for giving that input.
Hey, you don't gotta apologize. That's the whole reason we say this raw. You was perfect. You were everything is perfect. This because we can't show all that. Like you said, we can't show all that shiny. If we want to catch them, we got to show the raw. The root. When you get down to a root of a tree, it's in the dirt. You feel what I'm saying?
I got to leave with it. I'm gonna give you last word, but you got to leave with this. Something you said so powerful, and I hope everybody that's going to watch or watching, you said something, man. This is so important. You said I take a journal of me being a husband, father, a friend. If we just take that concept as a community, right, and say, okay, let me take a journal to see what can I bring to my community. How do I impact my neighbors? Am I showing love? If we just, man, that was so powerful, man. And I've journaled for years. I haven't journaled in a while, but just that part of the journal, I need to go back and see and check myself to see where I'm at.
Yeah.
And you'll see the change in the community, man. You'll see a change as you as an individual, as an individual. You know what I'm saying? You'll grow as an individual, and as you grow, you're gonna be the water the plant in order for that to blossom into an awesome tree. Our community is a tree. Right now, the leaves are shedding, man. It needs water. We are the water. We are the water, my brother.
You got to water the root.
That tree growing, man.
Hey, Howard.
Go ahead.
We got to water the roots. We got to water the roots.
Yeah.
Remember. It's all about the roots. We got a
But
water.
we are, and I know we went over tonight. We talked about an hour. We want to be consistent with that in our hour, but this is the first one. And that's what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about, bringing on a motivational speaker. Dude, you're a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
I'm a work in progress, bro. I'm a work in progress.
However you want to put it, man.
All right. Well, yeah. I challenge everyone to share it. You know, people will be able to watch this for a while. And, you know, we're logging off now, but we'll have, you know, the next show laid out with a platform. And, you know, just encourage other people to come back and watch this video, even if they missed it.
Definitely.
All right, guys. I get in touch with y'all.
All right, later, guys.
Much love, fellas.
All right, man. Appreciate y'all, brothers, man.
All right, bye-bye.
All right.